Hello and welcome to Marlins After Dark. I'm your host, Sean Millerick, joined tonight by John Rodriguez and Eli Sussman. And of course, on Marlins After Dark, where no team keeps you up late at night like the Miami Marlins. Of course, unless you've been doing a little tossing and turning over run differential, it's still been excitement keeping you up late at night, particularly of late. Marlins coming off of a 3-game sweep of the Chicago Cubs this weekend and close April as a winning team at 16-13. It's their best finish to April since 2022, when they finished 12-9, also 3 games over 500. So as we put that first month behind us, do you guys think that that's going to hold up? Do you think this is it's a better way to ask it. Do you think this is a better team than last year? It's yes or to be determined.
They're better than last year. That's not saying very much at all, but they're in a very interesting spot. As you mentioned with the run differential, I don't think they've played as well as a 16-13 team to this point in the season, but they've won those games. Those wins count, and there actually is like some substantial room for improvement just with the existing pieces that they have. I think mainly just point at the lineup and how much for most of the month, how big a hole Gene Segura was, their catching position was, among other things. For most part, that like hazy corner spot split between Avi Garcia and Jesus Sanchez. There have been holes in this lineup holding them back. They've been one of the lowest scoring lineups in the league. I think there's like a scenario where even with these same pieces, that they could even Jazz is capable of doing more than what he's done so far. There are the pieces here for that main deficiency, for the lack of run scoring to improve just with the pieces that they already have. And even in the rotation, I was surprised. I would never have thought they would have a month like this with the rotation kind of being very ordinary, especially Sandy himself being very ordinary. And he, more so than anybody else, I've learned never to doubt him. So regardless of what his results were this first month of the season, I still see a guy that is not that far away from being the best pitcher in the league like he was last year. Overall, just a very good month for this team, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. You love to see it with some of the key players not even hitting their stride yet. It does give you hope. That's definitely what gives me the most optimism for this lasting longer than last year's hot start did. John, what's surprising you the most?
Well, to start it off, I know this is called Marlins After Dark, but I gotta say I've been sleeping really well after the first month of April here for the Marlins. I mean, start 16-13, they're giving me good sleep. I'm actually staying up relatively earlier than I used to, being frustrated with the team last year. But no, yeah, like Eli said, this team looks way better than last year. You kind of get to see, a couple of the bright sides so far of April. That being the bullpen. Bullpen has looked really, really good. I know there's been a couple hiccups here and there, but you kind of like to see the way Skip Schumacher handles this team compared to Don Mattingly. I like his um, flexibility with guys being versatile, throwing them here and there. His lineups have looked good. His bullpen management has looked pretty solid. I hardly have any complaints for Skip Schumacher through the first month so far. Like I'm really, really, really happy with how this team has looked. I also like his kind of interesting way of kind of throwing the towel. When the team is behind, he just slaps Steven Smeltzer there, and that's the meltdown. But he's like, hey, we got to move forward. Like, right? That's the type of mentality that he kind of goes for, and I like it. For a guy who just kind of recently retired, he still got that player mindset. So with a young team, well, actually not that relatively young team now that I think about it. The Marlins have a couple veterans in there, but it's looking good. It's looking good. Let's see what May brings us.
Yeah, absolutely. Key to this turnaround, that 10-0 record in one-run games thing you see now. I certainly agree that Skip, everything he touches seems to be turning to gold right now, and that 10-0 record in one-run games is certainly part of it. That's the thing a manager usually gets criticized over, right? When like the bullpen blows it late and something, you just lose a close one, and that hasn't happened. The Marlins have won every close one this year, but still, I mean, obviously that'll probably change at some point, and there'll be a blemish in that loss column. But you definitely feel, I think, much more confident, going in that right moves going to get made, that there's multiple options they can go to. Even Tanner Scott's given us a couple saves this year when the other guys haven't been available. And AJ Puck has just been amazing, for this team. If I had to pick, I guess, a single player that's amazed me the most, that would probably be it, just for the novelty of having a closer that I feel confident in. For this, I mean, certainly Arias is tearing the cover off the ball, but we knew he was going to hit really well. We didn't know he was going to hit over 400, but we knew he was going to probably be the best average and on base percentage on the roster. AJ Puck did not see that coming to this extent. And it's been exciting. But since we turned the page into May, with the Marlins just sweeping the Cubs, that might be the fourth biggest story in South Florida right now. Shout out to the Heat and their playoff run. The Panthers knocking off Boston last night, and the Dolphins did a thing this weekend. The Dolphins did a draft, which I'm sure got much of the South Florida sports fan attention, even without a first round pick, thanks to their genius owner. So in the spirit of the draft, and since it is a Marlins off day, I thought we'd draft again on the show. We've done the most horrific moments in franchise history. Then we lightened it up considerably with the best trades in franchise.
I was there for that one.
And yes, Eli, I think you were both part of that one.
Yeah.
I believe I won the trade draft, and I think I lost horribly in the Marlins horror moments draft. I think Danny. I think D-Rod won that one. Or John? What did you do? Did you or
mine? I think when we sent it out on Twitter, there was a lot of people were kind of favoring mine, but they were also I saw a couple for D-Rod.
Yeah. So it was, I was fourth, both measures. Okay, so we'll see. But I guess I'm defending champion here, and we're doing the Marlins draft this time around. So players that were actually drafted by the Miami Marlins, and it's kind of a shallow pool. I've been working on my top 30 for the 30th anniversary season, and of the 30 players that made my list, that I've revealed a few names from already and will release the rest over the summer, 7 of the top 30 players in Marlins history were actually drafted by the Miami Marlins and put up through the organization. Put up in there. 3 of the 10 highest WARs amongst hitters, 3 of the 10 highest WARs amongst pitchers were players the Marlins drafted, and everyone else. So, I mean, there's some international free agency happening there. There's some free agents signed. There's some trades, but it's kind of a thin pool of who they've cultivated from start to finish. So we're going to have some fun doing a draft of that, see who can put together the best group. Be an auction format for this. We're all going to have $1,000 budget again, and we're just going to nominate names and see who wins the bidding and could put together the best slate of candidates. Let me put up a little Excel sheet on the screen here for those of you watching.
All right, got to work with 1,000. Looking at a couple of lists, and it's looking interesting.
It's going to be a 5-round draft, so 15.
5-round draft, yeah, picking 5 players.
Okay.
So I guess we're ending up with 5. Should have made that clear. Any other questions, gentlemen?
I think you clarified before we recorded that players that were drafted by the team but didn't sign by the team, those aren't included in this exercise.
Right.
That's become less common anyway in recent years. It used to be a much more frequent thing where this team would reach for a player that still had college eligibility remaining and come up empty, and that player ends up going to a totally different organization for their pro career. But these are just the ones that, as you said, really went into the Marlins system at one point.
Yeah, it's like an example, like popular example would be Charlie Blackmon, technically drafted by the Marlins. He said no, did not sign, and went back into the draft and was drafted much higher, I believe, a little later down the road. So that would not be eligible, but so okay. I think since we're doing auction format, I don't think there's necessarily a reason to, I guess, flip a coin or spin here. I think maybe I'll just start, and we'll just kind of go down, and then we'll snake draft our way through, I guess, going through for who takes a turn nominating a player. But
okay.
Oh, and we'll have we went pretty fast last time, but I guess if we get to a point where we think we need to move it along, we'll throw a little timer up on the screen, like where is it? like this, and you'll have 20 seconds to decide to make a bid. But we barely needed that last time. But okay, I'll start, and I'll throw out Mark Kotze. So, that very capable outfielder, stellar defense for the Marlins. He technically played in '97, but certainly known for his Marlins tenure for the later years there. Ultimately traded for. Was he part of the Matt Clement trade? Well, anyway, had many good years there for the team, and I'm going to throw him out for $2.
He's currently trying to survive in Oakland too.
Yes, and Kurt. Well, he gets to go to Vegas if he survives. $2 for Mark Kotze.
I'll go 55.
60.
Okay, and I'm out.
Go 65.
70.
Go 70. Actually, 72.
75.
I'm out. I'll give it to you.
Okay,
that's good value. That's good value.
That's good. So, I mean, love Kotze. I'll admit I picked a name that was outside my top 10 and just threw it out to see if I could get John to go crazy. All right, Eli gets Mark Kotze at 75.
Yeah, I feel bad for him right now. For people that aren't aware, he's the manager of the Oakland A's these days.
Yeah, it's really never easy. Like I've been a big fan of how expansion and everything. It's never easy when your team is like that and you're in the brink of relocation. Like I'm living through it. I'm fairly young. I was alive technically when the Expos moved, but it's never easy for a fan base and for a team and coaches and stuff like that. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, I hope they either let him ride this out or he gets another opportunity. Someone recognizes that he had no chance in hell of being successful. But okay, John, you're up to nominate someone.
Okay, so this is a huge one. Adrian Gonzalez. I mean, the career 43 when I looked it up. He was traded in 2003 for Ugueth Urbina to the Rangers, and I mean he was most notably in the Padres organization, the Dodgers as well. He had a short stint with the Red Sox, and in fact made MLB The Show cover as well in 2012, I think it was. So I mean, generally really really good first baseman, good person too. I'm gonna go. Wait, I can already throw in my bet, right? I'll go 250. Let's start 250.
Oh, wow. So more than Kotze, I see.
I was hoping he'd be a cheat code for me in this game.
Yeah, 260.
280.
Go 300.
310.
I'm out.
330.
335.
340.
341.
345.
350.
Ooh. 400.
405.
Wow. Okay. Let's go 407.
He's yours.
Yes. Let's go. We'll take Agon. All right. Let's see what I could play around here with.
Okay, so 407?
Yes, 407.
All right.
Yeah. No, I wanted him.
Yeah, so he would be one of the four best players we talk about tonight. Adrian Gonzalez is certainly,
I think so.
I think he's like he's Hall of Fame caliber. I don't know if he's going to make it in. But,
he was.
I don't think he'll quite get there, but he was great.
Oh yeah, like his very peak was awesome, and he had quite a bit of longevity. Like towards the end, his power kind of faded a little quicker than
really did.
You would like to. But yeah, just an excellent career overall. Fascinating trade in hindsight. I think most people with the Marlins lands on the side that, well, the flags fly forever. It was worth it. It was such an incredible career, such a valuable career, that you would love to think that there was another way for them to pull off the 2003 championship run, even while keeping him and maybe figuring out a different reliever along the way. Like you would, in terms of where the Marlins went the rest of that decade and how much that potentially could have been different if they had somebody like him still in the organization. It's a fascinating decision in hindsight.
Yeah, I mean, that's the flip side. You think of that bat in the lineup with Hanley and Miguel Cabrera very possibly for a year. That would have been like huge to see that play out before our eyes. But on the other hand, can you mess with anything in like the clubhouse dynamic? Could they have found a better reliever than Ugueth Urbina? Maybe ultimately, like sure, but did something about his presence was it essential to that 2003 title? I tend to fall on that. I tend not to question it, but it's a doozy.
Another thing with sure. Agon is the fact that he already finished his career, so we already knew what we were getting from him when we're doing this draft. So, and not only that, he played 15 years of a career. I mean, let alone to play 10 is an achievement. To play 15, that's crazy. And he was getting older, and he was still mashing. So I had to go with Agon. That's a great one.
No, good pick. Again, would be probably one of the 5 best players we mentioned.
I will go in a very different direction with an active player, a very recent Marlin, Brian Anderson, currently with the Milwaukee Brewers. So he has been, when healthy, he's been a consistently above average player. The last couple of years, he wasn't healthy for the Marlins. And now with his new team, he's been like the everyday middle of the order hitter for the Brewers, splitting time between third base and right field. Hasn't reached true stardom. A very good career, nonetheless.
And he's a star on Isaac Azut's heart, must be said.
Yes. I will, and there's still potentially a lot of career. I don't know exactly how we're going to value somebody like this who is now only just now about to turn 30 years old. Clearly a lot of career ahead of him, health permitting. Yeah. I will start the bidding at 69.
Nice. We go to 72.
Ooh, 75.
80.
82.
88.
99.
105.
110.
115.
108.
That is smart.
Already at 115.
Oh, shoot. 118. 118, my bad.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if 120.
121.
125.
I'm out.
130.
I'm out.
Okay.
All right. Eli takes BA. Yeah, I think my biggest thing would have been the injury bug, obviously, for BA. But speaking of BA, ever since he hit that, ever since he got hot in Milwaukee with those 2-3 home runs, how's he been after that?
He's back down. Yeah. His season overall, it's almost precisely in line with his pre-injury version. It's not a new peak right now. He's the same player that he was in 2019, 2020, except with a little more strikeout risk. So I'll be curious to see how that plays out, where he's striking out as much as ever. The bottom line results so far are almost precisely in line with the healthy BA that it used to be. I'm a little nervous because I was somebody that really wasn't all that shook up by the decision to let him go. I was a little skeptical of him getting back to his pre-injury level, and it's only been a month. So yeah, it's a little bit dicey, but he's a player that he's already been a 10 WAR player in his career. That's just only in his 20s. And a lot of physical gifts are still there as long as that shoulder, most of all, as long as that shoulder stays all right. I'm reasonably optimistic that he has a lot of years ahead of him.
He's got a lot of stuff you'd like to have, and tools you'd like to have for just a player on your roster, maybe a fourth outfielder type, but it's just, it was for me being okay with him going. It was just the money thing. It was realizing that while, the Yankees or the Dodgers or, plenty of teams could afford to pay even just at his price that it would have been to pick up his arbitration deal, like $4 or $5 million on that kind of just player to be on the roster for the Marlins that needs to be a starter. Then I think they needed to go, and it was time to change scenery. Unfortunately, but okay, I gotta throw someone out here. I don't have anyone yet. So I'm gonna throw out. Still keeping it low, trying to save my money for the big names. I'm gonna throw out AJ Ramos. The Marlins.
He was not even on my board.
He's not on mine either.
I would throw him out. Okay, well, I'm gonna throw him out for $1. One of the more accomplished closers in Marlins history.
Go ahead.
I live in. He played at Texas Tech, and I live in Lubbock, so I'm throwing a little. That's current local love his way.
He was the closer for 2.5 years, give or take.
I think longer.
Well, it was a year and a half or something like that. It was definitely after the Cishek trade to St. Louis, and we gave the nod. Did we give the nod to Dyson, or was it to? No, it was to Ramos.
I think it was.
Yeah, no, Ramos had it for longer than it.
Okay. Yeah, he was pretty good.
He was 4 straight seasons of 20 or more saves for the Marlins, including, of course, 40 in 2016.
Right. I'll go 10.
11.
Okay.
15.
20.
30.
33. Alonzo Mourning's number.
Go 35. Dontrell Willis's number.
38. Somebody's number.
Probably Devin Smeltzer's.
But I'm not going to come up with a 39 either, but I'll say 39.
Smeltzer's 31. Where are we at right now?
39.
39, okay. For Ramos, my thing is reliever, right? But there's another one. I can't be a hypocrite here because there's another guy on there. 43.
44. That's Ramos's number.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, I'm out. I've accomplished my mission.
I'll give it to Eli. Yeah, I'll give it to Eli. I just don't feel comfortable with going higher. And plus, I think it was neat that he actually got it 444.
People that know me well know that I don't have a lot of respect for relievers and the job that they do. So I would not have gone much higher than 44.
I'm surprised you went as high as you did.
So what's he
like? I was thinking I was going to grab a popular player for like $10 with that nomination.
I mean, not a bad board so far for Eli.
With a big budget remaining.
Yeah. Those last two better be big guns. Let's see. I'm up now, right?
Yeah, you're right.
All right. This is a good one. Well, at least for me. He was drafted in 2002. In my opinion, he is the greatest pitcher to ever walk the earth for the Marlins name. Josh Johnson. I mean, where do we begin with him? He had that impressive 150 ERA plus season in 2010. Or was it 09? No, it was 10. I think he should have been the Cy Young that year. Maybe some bias being thrown out, but I just love watching that guy go out there and pitch. His breaking ball stuff was crazy. His fastball was insane. Obviously, he did get hit around with those injuries. Around 2011, it got really bad for him. 2012 also hit him hard, but that 2009 season, that 2010 season, Josh Johnson was really reliable. In 2008, 14 starts, an ERA under 4. Like he was pretty good. His his ability to be a consistent and reliable starter for the Marlins, and well, he was the ace pretty much. It felt like in 2010, every time Johnson would hit the mound, just felt like he was going to get that no hitter or perfect game. Especially in 2010, there was a lot of no hitters and perfect games around that year. Roy Halladay pitched one against us. I was there for that. We also had Dallas Braden. We had, there was a lot of no hitters, and it just felt like Johnson would just go out there and just get one. But I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna go big on Josh Johnson. Let's start at 55 for the sake of his number, and then we'll build up from there.
Yeah, we'll build up a lot from there.
Yeah.
I'll jump up to 100.
Okay.
125.
155.
160.
190.
200.
210.
230.
230. Let's go 235.
240.
250.
300.
I'm out.
305.
305. We'll go 310.
315.
320.
321.
323.
325.
Okay. 327.
330.
Man. I'll give it to you. Wow. I'll give away JJ to you.
So you race me one more time, but I'm happy to have him. Third highest WAR in Marlins history. Yeah, I agree with you that it's the best Marlins pitching career. So,
yeah.
All right.
Still got a nice amount to work with so far. Let's see.
I guess it's my turn to nominate somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're up.
I'll do Josh Willingham. I need to triple check that he was a Marlins draft pick. I think he was.
He was. Yep. No, he had.
Remember the year, but
in 2000 precisely, turn of the century, 17th round pick, one of the more successful 17th round picks you'll find. It took a while for him to get a steady playing time in the big leagues. That happened in 2006, where there was just nobody on the depth chart ahead of him. He was a consistent power threat the next few years, and he was kept chugging along even when he left the team in 2009. First the Nats, he had that 1 year with the A's, and then with the Minnesota Twins, winning a Silver Slugger. When I think a lot of people. I remember when he signed that, I think, a free agent contract with the Twins that year, and immediately got off to that was arguably his best season overall. So he hit nearly 200 home runs in his career, mostly in left field. Just a lot of fun to watch. A ton of pull side power, and he drew his fair share of walks. So as a hitter overall, by weighted runs created plus, 20% better than league average for his career. Not quite as much, but surprisingly close in WAR to somebody like Josh Johnson. Josh Willingham, panned out extremely well. I will start at 95 for Josh Willingham.
Okay.
I love playing with him on, I think it was Triple Play 2000. There was a blue chip Baseball America catching prospect for the Marlins, but not of a good catcher on the 2000 roster in that video game. So Love Josh Willingham since then. Certainly watching him. It's part of the 06 team.
The hammer, baby.
On up. I'll bet 100.
I'll go 105.
115.
120.
Ooh, 120 for me.
Okay, 125.
I'm out.
Me too.
I'll take Willingham.
Okay.
125.
Right, that was 125.
Hammer. Yep.
Okay.
I don't know. Is that a better value than BA? It probably is because of the uncertainty of what BA is going to do the rest of his career.
Right, and that's the tricky part. You're gambling on how they're going to pan out as they go. Because Willingham's career is already done. He hasn't played since, what is it, 14, 15?
14.
Well, so obviously part of this is I'm bringing you back in 5 years, and we're gonna we're gonna reassess.
A couple of times on Fish Stripes, we did this Marlins decade draft, where picking the team that you'd want for the next 10 years. And we did a couple of times, and it was fun. I did it with different drafters each time. I think 3 total iterations of it, but it's pointless. Nobody's gonna actually revisit that later on. So we ditched that idea originally. So the fact that this is even not talking about, it even sounds absurd when you talk about 5 years down the road. Honestly, people don't have that type of a attention span, commitment to an exercise like this.
Something to mention with Willingham. Didn't Willingham break out of nowhere again in 2012? I think it was with the Twins. He hit over 30 homers that year.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a crazy year. It reminds me of something Logan Morrison did for the Rays a couple of years ago. I think it was 18, 19, 17, one of those years. He had another crazy one.
I guess Lomo, we may hear him mentioned. We'll see. Later in this.
That's right, Lomo. Wow. All right.
Okay. Eli, you said you nominated Willingham, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then, all right, I will throw out. I'm going to throw out a current Marlin. I'm going to nominate Trevor Rogers. First round draft pick of the Marlins. Not a ton of first round picks in the Marlins that have been useful, really. And if you count supplemental picks, they've had 37 first round picks, and I'd say maybe 11 of them have displayed any extent of being good. 10 of them did so as Marlins. One of them was Adrian Gonzalez. I'd say 4 of them have been good for more than 2 seasons. So I'm not putting Trevor in that camp just yet, hoping he makes that list. But I'll nominate Trevor Rogers. Should have won Rookie of the Year in 2021, and I'll nominate Trevor for $25.
Thing I'm thinking about here is, obviously his 21 season, which was Trevor Dodgers, but since then, it's been up, down, like where he's going, but then he got hurt again. You said, how much you bid in?
25.
25. I'll go 30.
40.
45.
50.
60.
65.
He's 25 years old too, so there's a lot of baseball left. 80.
85.
86.
90.
I'm out.
Nope.
Okay. I'll take Rogers. Got myself a little pitcher, work around, and I still got a decent amount of money left to work with.
Okay. And what was that again? 95?
90.
It was 90.
90. All right.
Okay. Eli's gonna go huge for that last one or something. I can see
2
it.
spots. 2 spots. I could do some things.
He can split.
So it was Sean. You were the one that mentioned Rogers, right? So I'm up.
Yes.
I'm going to go with an interesting one. I know by now we probably would have mentioned some other bigger names, but I'll go Mark Canha. I mean, he's built up to have a really solid MLB career. He was drafted in 2010 on the 7th round from the Marlins. He's turned out to be a pretty good outfielder for the Oakland Athletics. The Marlins gave him up. I think no, he was picked in the Rule 5 by the Rockies, and now he's currently on the Mets. This is a guy I actually wanted the Marlins to go pursue in the off season last year and have a reunification.
Would have been nice.
He is currently 30 in his mid 40s, I think, or about to head towards
34.
That. 34. So he has pretty much a good solid chunk of his career already done. I think he's about to enter year 10, or is in year 10. If I remember. But yeah, he was a big contributor for those Oakland A's teams in the later 2010s before they flushed it all down the toilet. But general, let's go 65 for Mark Canha to start it off.
75.
76.
78.
80.
I'm at
82.
That's because that's a good value for you at that price. I don't think I really want him. There only have 2 spots left. 90.
I'm out.
All right.
Okay. Because I'm working with something here. I just realized. Eli gets Canha. Okay. Eli gets Eli.
What a value. All right, and 80?
90.
90.
Yeah.
90 is a popular bet. All right.
Eli looks like the Rays right now. He's going low ball, but he's going to go Wander Franco type contract.
I just have to decide.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's probably getting whoever he wants for his last pick.
Yeah. I guess I just need to double check because I came in thinking I'd want to go big on a different guy, but now that I've backed myself into this corner. Yeah, Giancarlo Michael Cruz Stanton for $660. That's my opening bid for the Marlins all-time leader and a whole lot of offensive stats. Who still has nearly 5 years to go on his current contract, and he's regardless of where he goes from here, he's going to have a pretty decent Hall of Fame case. Yeah, 660. I guess Sean could technically top that if he wanted to, but that would limit his.
So let me look at the board here. So John needs 2 more. You need 1. Do I feel comfortable in the Twitter audience backing me with JJ and Stanton and then 3 other people on my list who I would just...
Sean, honestly, you would have...
Sure. Stanton, so what do I got?
If you get Stanton, you would have my top 2 best Marlins. And if I were to make a top 20 list right now, you would have my top 2.
All right, so 665.
Eli's got a lot of money to work with here.
That's all I had. All I had was 660, which I thought would be enough to get it done.
So Sean would take it, right?
Well, yeah, unless I could borrow from somebody.
No, okay, I'll take.
Kevin, if you're still watching this, maybe you could send back last month's stipends, fifth stripe stipends, and then but I'm stuck. Yeah, he's yours. If you're going that 665.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's see what I end up with. No.
That leaves you with 5.
Yes.
Okay, interesting for Sean. He's got 3 more to go. He's gonna end up with like
Okay.
Randy Messenger or something.
All right. Well, I gotta drain some money from you guys then to get some better names. So I'm gonna nominate Jose Fernandez. The
Hmm.
obviously could pure stuff could be the most talented pitcher that the Marlins have ever drafted. Would have loved to have seen how his career would have played out. I think he would have moved past all the other pitchers that we're gonna
Oh yeah.
hear at least discussed. Although I'm not gonna bid much on them in this draft. So Jose Fernandez, and I will start the bidding at $1. I think much more of him than that, but I will bet $1 on Jose Fernandez.
Ah. I got 378 left to work with, so I'm gonna go 100.
I'm out. He's not a consideration for my final spot, unfortunately.
I'll take Josie.
Okay.
But we're talking about because here's the thing: we're talking about what could have been, right? The what could have been.
This is just the best players that the Marlins have drafted
in general, like pure talent.
Yeah.
Raw. Okay.
I mean, when I put it together, yeah, but I was looking at it like to this point in time there. So like I'm not gonna. So I'm not gonna project an awesome decade for Max Meyer when he comes back and throw him out. Although I could be forced to do that. We'll see what happens at the end here. But I think I'll have some other names. I'll get to have.
Okay.
You, I think, are being a little more forward thinking, but that's fine too.
It really depends how people look at it. Again, I guess.
I guess I'm counting on the Twitter audience, and this goes up in a poll to my.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
To think of to date production, and mostly in Marlins uniform production.
Okay. So we'll up.
See.
I'm going to go gamble on this one. Hopefully I got him. If not, hey, whatever. But I'm going to nominate JT Realmuto. He was drafted by the Marlins in the 3rd round of the 2010 draft. And he's built himself up to be one of the top catchers in the game right now. I mean, he is just purely raw. Yeah, the Marlins traded him, obviously, for that Sixto Sanchez trade. But man, I mean, he completely came up as a backup guy for 2014 for Salty when Salty was underperforming, and he really built himself up. Like good framer, good guy behind the plate in general. I mean, he made his way into the 2018 All-Star game on a team that wasn't really good. And I think the Marlins had 2 All-Stars that year, right? It was Sandy and JT, or was it just JT? I think we had 2 All-Stars that year.
JT was in 2018 and his last year with the team. Sandy wasn't until the following year.
Oh, right, 2019. Right. And he was able to play that game. I was really excited. Really excited to see JT go play that game in the later innings. So now he's obviously with the Phillies, went to the World Series, and he's only 32. He's already played a 10-year career. So
and he's already the best catcher in baseball.
Yeah. I'll go. I mean, catchers are, and especially in this day and age, they're just more obscure to find a raw talent catcher like JT. Not only that, this guy could run. Like, not many catchers in the game could run. So I'm going to go 150 for JT.
I'm emptying the account on JT, all 660.
Damn.
Lock him up. I went into this thinking, when I went to the final 2 spots, I wanted to find a way to get both Stanton and JT or a strong second behind them. But then I screwed myself with that can of bidding. But I'm satisfied. Yeah, I JT. You'll get into Christian Yelich pretty soon, I imagine. I was like thinking about how exactly I'd ordered them, just because Yelich's peak was as good as Stanton's and as good as anybody's for those couple of years. But JT at this point, he's now strung together. This is like his 7th consecutive year as one of the consensus best catchers in baseball. That's pretty special. I'll have JT. I'm satisfied with that.
And it's smart. It's smart that you really threw it on JT, because other than that, what other catcher that we really have that is at that caliber as JT? Like, really smart decision. Like that would have been really, really smart. So I got to tip my cap off. I'm not wearing one right now, but I got to tip one off,
Yeah, no, he's was one of the favorite players on my board. But so good get.
All right,
Sean, and John, you nominated him, right?
I nominated him. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Eli, you're up to, or wait, are you full? So I guess
I could nominate people, but I couldn't.
Okay. No. All right. No. All right. So yeah, I guess it goes to me. You're right. Okay. So to Eli's team is full at Mark Kotze, Brian Anderson, AJ Ramos, Mark Canna, and JT Realmuto. There. So all right. So my strategy for this was to get two of my top four basically that I had and I did that. I thought I'd maybe be a little more spread out, but Stanton and Johnson were certainly near the way at the top of my list. So happy to have them, and I will nominate. Let's see, John, what do you got? You one more spot. So okay, I'm gonna nominate. Josh Beckett.
Oh,
Josh Beckett. World Series MVP in 2003, one of the strongest, postseason pitching performances I can recall ever seeing in my lifetime, and I'll nominate him for the princely sum of $3.
This is tough because honestly, Sean, if I throw on Beckett, this gives you opportunity to throw a dollar on the other guys, and you can lowball.
Oh yeah, so no, this is kind of the strategy. So I had more than two players left I kind of liked on my board, and that I'm confident that other voters will like. So this is just who's your favorite Marlin remaining of the three most obvious names. And then,
it's tough because now I got to throw a gamble. Was there someone who was better than Beckett on that draft board that I could take, or do I take Beckett? And then this means you could just go, for example, Yelich $1, Morrison $1, and so wow, okay. How much did you throw for Beckett?
$3.
Who else is on that board that I can remember right now? So obviously you got Yelich, but Yelich now he's got a lot of baseball left too. So screw it, I'll go 10.
Okay.
I'll go
okay,
10
buddy.
I'll just throw 10, or I guess I'll just throw whatever I have left. That's my last pick. I go Beckett. Finish his career, won a championship, tag Posada. I mean, what else can you ask for? Hey, I wasn't expecting to end with 3 pitchers, but yeah, that's Agon, Willingham, Trevor, Jose, and Beckett.
Yeah, you had 278 left for the record.
278?
278, yeah.
Thank you.
I'll go 278.
Sizing up who I'm going to pick for my other two.
Now I'm interested to see who I lost on.
Okay, so all right, so I get to I'll spend. All right, so I guess I'll go $3 and $1 and $1 on next 3 selections. We'll see. So in the first spot, we've mentioned them already, but certainly I'm going to take Christian Yelich.
Okay, I was willing to give up Yelich.
Next up, just started to tap into his, power and full hitting potential there on his way out of here. But go glove season with the Marlins. I'm one of the best natural outfielders we've had, certainly that we've developed in our system. So I'll take Christian Yelich for $3. You guys can't bid, but any thoughts on Yelich? Anyone as far as
undisputed best player still available on here?
Yeah.
I think I know where you're going next. If I could guess.
You may.
I think one of these next two has to be Charles Johnson.
Yes, that was. If you saw me shushing you during the catcher discussion, just in case, I would have been heartbroken if I didn't get to walk away with CJ. Speaking of, mentioned Yelich mentioned that Yelich won 8 Gold Gloves. Charles Johnson has won multiple Gold Gloves in his Marlins career. 3, I believe. 3 or 4 for Charles Johnson. Let's see. But I would nominate him for $1.
The other catcher I had in mind was he was in the Rojas trade. Barnes, right? We drafted Barnes. That was the other one, but Barnes.
Yeah, there was a little like blip there where it looks like he might be borderline starter quality, but then he settled into kind of what he is.
And the
I guess we'll go 3.5 Gold Gloves on Charles Johnson. He won a Gold Glove in '98, but that was the year he was traded to the Dodgers. But okay, let me just find my.
No, that's a smart one.
Right.
Love CJ. I think, in my opinion, he is the greatest catcher in Marlins history still to this day.
Someone who I thought would be much lower on this board when I was putting this together was Mike Redmond, but he was actually an undrafted free agent that just worked his way up through the system. I figured for sure he'd be one of those late round, picks. Not quite Mike Piazza level at 62nd round, but
he was mentioned earlier on Fish Stripes Jeopardy too.
All right,
that's right. Yes. He was not to spoil for anybody that hasn't watched it, but yeah, he is.
Yeah, you should go watch Fish Stripes Jeopardy.
It was funny. And I'm still mad at you. Kevin, if you're watching, I'm mad at you for not getting Tanner Scott.
I was mad in the car at him not getting Tanner Scott. Just listening to that on the show.
Sanjeev Segura.
All right. And then so obviously I got my kind of pick of the litter here for remainder. What do I think is going to... Do I want to go for his actual best career, or what's going to, I think, play the best amongst the voters? Well,
this is the tough one right here, because I gave up all of these guys to get Beckett.
I'll take a reliever. I'll say Cishek. I'll take Steve Cishek for $1. It's between him and Tom Kohler, but I'll go with the saves.
Wow, does it really get that bleak after?
Yeah, it does. That was so. Other names on my board to consider would have been picking between Tom Kohler, Chris Volstad, Steve Cishek, counting on people to remember who Randy Wynn was, and Scott Olson and Logan Morrison.
Wow.
And after that, it would have been Chris Coughlin. He was my, if this was, but he had really just had the one good year and then not a lot after that.
He wasn't able to front flip his way onto this draft board.
But yes, I will take Cishek at $1. Anyone for either of you, anyone else who is on your board that we did not discuss, other honorable mentions you think are?
You mentioned Randy Wynn right there, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, he was on there. Aside from them,
I think we pretty much went through pretty much everybody that was on mine.
Right around where we had Trevor Rogers, I at least jotted down the name Braxton Garrett, considering all things considered, like how comparable they are to this point in their careers. So the fact that Trevor went in this draft, and Braxton was, I thought he would merit some sort of consideration. Outside of that, I think there was a pretty clear tier down below that. Or I jotted down the name Tom Kohler. I don't think I saw a scenario where he would actually be picked here.
Well, it's like when I first put my list together, it was when I thought we'd have four. Behind the scenes, we were going to have 4 drafters at one point, so I thought this was going to get crazy thin at the 4 and 5 point. But we actually all do have ended up with players that I think everyone remembers playing baseball. But
generally speaking, I gotta say, I don't regret my final pick in exchange for those 3 that you got. Like, yes, Yelich had that MVP season. Yes, Charles Johnson, bunch of Gold Gloves, won his World Series championships. And I think he had 2 stints at the Marlins, too. He came back in 2005, and he made the All-Star game as well that year. Or was it 2004? I always confuse those 2 years.
It was definitely earlier than that. A little bit earlier. Or
was it 2002?
For Johnson?
I have the thing up here.
Johnson came back to the Marlins in 2001, but he was on the...
there it is.
He was the original Marlins. I think he came up in 95, and then 95, 96, 97.
He went to Colorado. It felt like every ex-Marlin went to Colorado for a bit. Like Pierre was there.
Preston Wilson.
Yeah. But in general... Mike Dunn. There's also... And then if you're trying to go Tyler Kinley, nowadays. I don't know where he's at now these days. Is he still there?
I think he's under contract but injured.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it just felt like Colorado was like our neighbor in terms of ex Marlins. But I like my board. I gotta say, I'm really excited with.
Yeah, I like mine too. I mean, I feel a little bad about I don't share Eli's level of disdain for relief pitchers, but it's there. There are some that necessarily feel that I ended up with a reliever, but so I'm not sure which of us is. I mean, I think I got better value, I guess, for the money, but I think AJ Ramos would get a little more love in the voting. I imagine.
This isn't hard for me.
Cishek is the better pitcher.
No, this isn't hard for me. I think Sean's got this one very handily.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. It was that. I think in hindsight, it probably shouldn't have gone that high for BA. And then the big mistake was Canna. That was the one I was really wrestling over because I'm like, I don't really want him. But I also felt that like that was a really good value, but it was a point where I should have let it slide. And then that would have opened up a lot more creative possibilities where I could have gotten JT and somebody else great, or I could have gotten Stanton and somebody else pretty good. Yeah. So that was, I feel like that I was trailing. I wasn't in a great position to begin with, but then I took a big swing and it backfired. And it made it like a Don Mattingly move, a Skip Schumacher move.
Well, that's a
good one.
Well, with that metaphor, I guess that's what we'll close on. We're glad those Mattingly bullpen decisions are behind us on the field. Anyway, so all right. Next, anything you guys want to promote coming up before? You go watch Marlins Jeopardy.
So behind the scenes, we are using a application called StreamYard, and that is the same thing that Fish Stripes Live has been using the last couple of years. This new feature that I was aware of but haven't tried myself is allowing us to stream to my own audience, to like amplify a stream to our account as a guest within here. And I'm just seeing now what this looks like, where with the press of the button, I could have conceivably thrown this up directly on the Fish Stripes feed. That's good to know for future use. That I'm able to, actually simulcast this, whether it was to Twitter or to YouTube or to both. I'm not entirely sure, but just seeing this now from a different perspective, that is good to know from our programming purposes. But Fish Stripes Live is going to be on tomorrow night at 5:30, leading into the Braves series, and then we're a little undecided about what to do later in the week for the Cubs series, just because that series kicks off in the afternoon at Wrigley. Still trying to figure out exactly that, but a lot of content. People are probably familiar with what we do here and how much we collaborate with somebody like Sean when it comes to Marlins Jeopardy or series predictions and much more. So I always enjoy being on with you, Sean.
Appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much, and love helping you guys as well. Those predictions have been a little rough lately, but I'm happy to keep being wrong. They find a way to win the games. John, what about you? Anything coming up?
As of right now, I've been a little busy, but I'm just really happy with how the teams are doing. Like it feels different. You could wake up every morning. You could actually drink coffee in peace. I mean, it's just nice to be a Miami fan right now. It's not even just the Marlins fan. It's just a Miami fan in general. Sports are peaking here. They really are. And I think, and if you have yet to go to a Marlins game, for anyone watching, like, go give them some support. They deserve it. Like, if it was to the point where they were playing bad, we literally have come on air and we have, addressed our frustrations. We've addressed why nobody goes to the stadium, but there's no reason for nobody to be attending the stadium right now. Like, go out there, go show them love. Jazz came out there I know the Marlins posted it. Like, go show them some love. Win or lose, this team is different. There's a different atmosphere. I feel like the vibes are just different. It's the skip shoe magic, as I call it. And it's just good to see them kind of change it around. Hopefully this is a long-term thing and it's not just an April only thing. That's my biggest concern, given that this is kind of the vibes that we sort of had last year with the team, and then all of a sudden the ship started to sink. But overall, nothing to be pissed about for this Marlins team, and there's many things to be tweaked along the way, and hopefully they address that.
No, well said. All right, so you can catch me here next week. Follow me on Twitter at Miami Sports Minute. I'm here on Marlins After Dark. As always, so go Heat, go Panthers, and of course, go Marlins. Catch you next time. Good night.
Yes, sir.